Hi and welcome to Strength for Sport Online. My name is Michelle Hemley from Team Hemley Training, and the first thing we're going to get you to do is some fitness tests and screens. It's really great to get a record of where your fitness is at right at the start of your program. We'll retest in 8 weeks to see how you've improved. It's a really great way to stay motivated as well. So through this video, we'll show you how to complete all of the tests at home. Now there are some tests that you may not be able to do. You may not be able to do because of an injury. You may not be able to do chin-ups, for example, because you don't have a chin-up bar. That is okay. Do what you can, fill in the link with all of your results, and we'll keep a record, and hopefully in 8 weeks' time, you've improved. This may not seem like a vital test, but it's really important if you're a growing athlete to monitor your height. So we'll get you to measure your height each time you do fitness testing and screening. When you are going through a growth spurt, that's called your peak height velocity, you are more prone to getting overuse injuries. So it's really important as trainers, we keep a track of when you're growing so that we can program for you safely. So here is how you'd measure someone at home. You need a tape measure. The measurer places the measure under their foot. They pull it up nice and straight. You have the person being measured with their shoes off, heels against the wall, back against the wall, and then you use something to make sure where the top of their head meets the measuring tape, and you can take your score from there. So get your parents or your friends to help you. It's generally helpful if somebody taller than you helps measure. Of course, you can always have the measuring tape set up against a wall as well, but this is just what you can do if you don't have one of those setups at home. All right, here we have sit to stand test with Ned and Caitlin. Give us a wave, guys. Fantastic. So this is a test of leg strength, and it's also looking at how balanced you are between your left and your right side. So you can see Ned and Caitlin are sitting on a bench or a step where their knee is about 90-degree angle to their hip. So Caitlin, being a bit shorter than Ned, she's sitting on a shorter bench. Caitlin, if you could hold the plate up, please, and just pop that underneath you. So if you find you don't have any seat or step like that at your home, you can always add a few things to help you reach that 90 degrees. Okay, you can take that out now. All right, so what we're aiming to do with this test is seeing how many times you can sit and stand up on a single leg in 30 seconds. So I'll get both of you to keep your right foot on the ground and lift your left foot in the air. Yep, just slightly in the air. So you can see how this test is done with no shoes on. And when I call go, they're going to stand up just using the one leg and then sit down and keep doing that for 30 seconds. They need to count how many times they do that in the 30 seconds and go as quickly as possible. All right, you ready, guys? Let's go. So come up, sit down. Make sure you come right up so the leg is straight. Excellent. That foot on the ground needs to stay down. It can't be swinging up and down for momentum. It needs to be glued there. All right, let's hold it. All right, let's go other leg. So now we're going to go left leg glued on the ground, right leg slightly up. Again, you'll go for 30 seconds and let's go. So when you're doing this at home, you need a stopwatch to time for 30 seconds. On go, start counting. How many times you stand up is your score at the end of the 30 seconds. And you'll do your left and right leg. This is our push-ups in 30 seconds test. So to set yourself up for this test, we'll get Storm to get down low over a piece of equipment. So here we're using a half medicine ball. At home you can use a marker cone, a tin can of food, whatever you can find, as long as when you complete your push-up, if we have a look here, your elbows are about 90 degrees when your chest touches the piece of equipment. So if you can do that, that's counted as 1. So sitting Storm in that lovely push-up position, hands either side of the piece of equipment. When he goes down into his push-up, his chest touches the equipment, elbows are at 90 degrees, and we simply count how many push-ups he can do like that in 30 seconds. So if you can't do more than 5 and you need to stop, that's okay. Have a little bit of a rest. If you can get any more in within the 30 seconds, that still counts. The whole idea in these initial tests is how much you can improve as time goes by. This is our single leg hop and hold drill. So what you are doing is you start on one foot, you leave behind the line at the start of the measuring tape, you hop 3 times in a row and stick and balance the landing. So let's go, Caitlin. 1, 2, 3, balance the landing. And again, we take the measurement at the back of the heel for how far she went. Now for this to count, you have to make sure that the landing is stuck. So Caitlin, I'm going to get you to demonstrate again and fall over on your last hop. So this is what we don't want to see. Off you go. So 1, 2, 3. That's just counted, it doesn't count. You have to stick that landing for at least 2 seconds. Take your best measurement on your left and your right foot. You get 3 goes each, just like in standing broad jump. So this test is standing broad jump, and we're measuring explosive leg power, so a great one for the basketball players, volleyball players, etc. So both of Ned's feet are behind a line right at the start of the measuring tape. He's going to raise his arms up and he's going to jump forward with 2 feet as far as he can. Stick the landing. He's going to use a measuring tape to take the measure at the back of his heels to see how far he jumped. Now when you're doing this test at home, have 3 different jumps and take your best score, that is your test result. Here we have our staff member Storm demonstrating another fitness test, which is our chin-ups. Now this is one you may not be able to do at home simply because of lack of equipment. So here in the gym we have a squat rack with a chin-up bar where we use. We also have it set up so that there's a band across the bottom. Storm, if you could point to these things as I'm talking. Fantastic, which you can help to gain momentum when you do your chin-up. If you are doing chin-ups at home with a band and you do have a setup, that's fine. Just make sure you note that on your testing results. Other things that you could use if you don't have a chin-up bar, if you've got a park across the road with a monkey bars or something like that, you know, so if you can get this test done, great, but if you can't, don't worry about it. So we'll just get Storm to step up onto the box. Safety is paramount if you're using a band. He's going to grab hold of the bar with his hands facing towards him. That's the difference between a chin-up and a pull-up. He's going to step onto the band 1 foot at a time and hang and pull himself up. Chin to bar, back down again. Now your test is how many chin-ups you can do till you need to stop. So just keep going until you need to stop. We might keep the camera on Storm and see when he stops. Or we might stop it now. Thanks guys. Now we've got 2 running tests that we'd like you to complete. One is an endurance style run, one is a sprint style run. You will need someone to time you for both of these things. So for the 1 kilometre run, that is your endurance run. We won't be doing that in here. I would map out a course with your GPS or with your phone, time yourself for running 1 kilometre. That is your result for your 1 kilometre time trial. For your 20 metre sprint, you can map out a 20 metre distance like we have done here between the blue cone where Storm is standing and the yellow cone where Ned is standing. Ned is going to be timing Storm, so he has his watch ready to go. Ned is going to call to Storm when to go. He's going to use a consistent start, and he is also going to use a hand signal so that Storm can see and also hear when he wants him to go. So if we just have a look at Ned for a second, when he's ready to go, he's going to have his hand in the air and the command's going to be set, go. On go, he starts taking the time, his hand drops and Storm sprints. Ned is sitting at the line, ready to take his time. Seeing him as when he's directly across.
Set, go.
Excellent. So that was his 20 metre sprint. If you don't have anything to measure out, 2/3 of a netball court, Storm, can you stand where the 2/3 mark is of the netball court? Is only slightly more than 20 metres. So you can always time yourself over 2/3 of a netball court, and that's your consistent timing for your 20 metre sprint. Doesn't matter if it's not spot on. What matters is you're measuring the same distance test to test. So what we're doing here is a simple plank test. So I'm going to get Ned to get into a plank position with his elbows directly under his shoulders, hands facing forward, not clenched together. You'll see there's a straight line between Ned's heels, his hips and his head. You want to hold that position nice and tight for as long as you can. Start your time and aiming for as long as you can get. Your score is whatever your time frame is. So if you hold a plank for 53 seconds, your score is 53 seconds. If you hold for 1 minute and 15, your score is 1 minute and 15. Through this test, our maximum hold is 2 minutes. Caitlin here will be demonstrating our side plank test. For this test, we're going to get you to hold a side plank on your left side and on your right side. So Caitlin's just going to show us how to set up for a side plank. You put your elbow directly under your shoulder, move onto your side, push up, and your hands can be either on your hips or up in the sky. If you're not comfortable with 1 foot on top of the other like Caitlin is, you can move your top foot slightly forward. Yeah, and just help with a little bit of balance there. Okay, for your side plank, the maximum hold is 60 seconds. Like the plank test, if you can hold for 45 seconds, that is your test results score. If you hold for 60, that's the maximum for now, so you can finish at 60 seconds. Test on both your right and your left side.